Some may think that tidying up is something obvious and that everyone knows how to make their beds and tidy their rooms easily. But in practical life, we find that tidying rooms and homes is never easy. Rather, the difficulty of this responsibility arises when the crowding of useless items inside homes increases and people begin to think about what is irreplaceable and what is not. We can find pictures, plastics, clothes, and old pots. All of them appear to be important, but in fact they cause crowding and chaos in all the rooms and homes, and that is why we call the tidying that it is a magic, as it will change your life from chaos to practical success. The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. Parents usually tell their children tidy your rooms, but they do not tell them how to do this. Therefore, the process of tidying rooms has become an improvisational process that does not depend on rules. One of the most common improvisational habits about tidying is the rule of tidy your house step by step and don't do that once. This rule is followed by a problem, which is to keep postponing getting rid of the useless things. Since whenever a person arranges one room gradually, he will always feel that there is another place in the house where we can store anything extra, and therefore the person begins to move the extra things from one room to another. Moreover, in places with many rooms, some may forget whether they arranged this room or not. Therefore, the perfect solution for this process is summed up in two main points. The first is to tidy the entire house at once, and it may be difficult in practice, but it is a radical and final solution, and it will be considered a shift in your life, because when you reach the stage of tidying and arranging everything, it will be difficult for you to accept the idea of chaos again, especially since you have made a great effort. As for the second point, it is to get rid of things that you won't use anymore, and it may be difficult for some who prefer to keep memories, but the truth is that storing things is a very big problem that keeps your life chaotic. Marie Kondo tells that she changed her view of storing things when she read a book called The Art of Discarding, and she says that it was an amazing book, to the extent that she arrived at her home at a relatively young age, and got rid of old clothes, old toys, and old school supplies. And she says that she had filled 8 large-sized bags from her room only, and after doing this, it was the first time for her to see empty spaces of her room in a clear and tidy manner. Bit to remember, you should have the courage to get rid of anything useless in your life. Marie Kondo is always asked, how do people know that these things are useless and can be thrown away? Some people say that things that have not been used for a year can be thrown away, but Marie has a deeper insight. For example, if your closet is full of clothes, and you don't know which ones are useless, you just have to take out all your clothes, start touching them and wear what you want, and at this time you will immediately know what are your favorite clothes, and what are the clothes that you will never wear, and what are the clothes you will wear at certain times. Also, for book enthusiasts, they sometimes throw books on the floor and on their desk, and because the books are heavy, moving them from one place to another is very difficult. Therefore, the best way to store books is to put them all on the ground and look at these books to see what is important, and you will certainly find a number of books that you don't want to read again, or you'll find books that you've already read and you will never read them again. In this way, you will find that the books have been divided into 2 parts, the first part that you will read and the second part that you will get rid of, and you have to put the books that you will read in your library in a horizontal way, so that you can see its title and at the same time, it takes up a little space. But before all that, you need to get rid of the someday habit, where you find yourself saying someday I'm going to wear these pants, or someday I'm going to read this book. You just have to make time to decide what you really want in your home, and don't let the postponement push you to store things. Because with time you will get used to both postponing and storing. You can also get rid of papers you won't need, such as wedding invitations and greeting cards, old invoices, and notifications you already received. Bit to remember, do not store things based on the possibility that you may need them in the future. It is very important to make your tidying process simple and not complex, especially after getting rid of all your useless things. For example, if you do not have a library, but you have a lot of books, and at the same time you have an empty place in the kitchen cupboard, then it will be okay if you put the books in this empty place, as the most important thing is to specify a place for each item, even if this place does not make any sense to you. The reason for this is that if you don't have a specific place for every item, you will return back to your chaotic life. Let's say you have an empty shelf. After a while, this shelf will always be full, simply because you haven't allocated it for a specific item, so anything that has no place will be put on this shelf. Therefore, you have to get rid of the things that you do not want to store, but you have to specify certain places for the things you need to keep. Don't be a random person, and in order not to get confused in allocating places for the things that you want to store, there are two simple ways, which are either storing all the things of the same type together in one place, and storing things according to the person who owns them, which is the way that may suit families more. You can also organize the storage spaces you allocate for people into more detailed categories. Bit to remember, don't make tidying a complex process, but use the simplest ways. The magic in the tidying process in general is presented in the value with which this process supports our personalities, as tidying the place where we live gives us a different kind of self-confidence, and this is due to a very simple reason, which is clarity of vision, because seeing things arranged and in their specific place around you gives your mind a good feeling of organization and comfort, and this is reflected in the person's self-confidence. In addition to the beauty that spreads all over the place, which usually impress others, which makes them ask us, "How are you so tidy?" Also, the process of getting rid of useless items is a unique process in which we bump into our memories and situations that are related to each item of them, which helps in the process of strengthening the ability to make decisions without confusion. With every old object that you get rid of an internal feeling, so you choose the memories you want to keep but in an organized way. Many of us do not realize that the overlapping of memories make us unable to remember or enjoy them, while the arrangement of memories will help our minds to enjoy the past and its memories. Bit to remember, a tidy life leads to a tidy and more productive mind.